Has to make sure everybody knows. If you don't want to be recorded, you can drop off. Um, so I'm not sure how to get this started other than to just say, let's see, I think Larbeth was very adept at being able to pick out everything but lima beans in the mixed vegetables at dinner time.
She didn't like peas either.
Oh,
I remember one time visiting and I said something about peas, and she says, "You will never find a pea in this house."
so
I
I
thought I
went,
would.
go
Mhm.
ahead.
I just thought I'd read you this card. Matt saw it yesterday. Daryl, my son, came over with his daughter and Jewel, and she said they went to the flower shop, and she wrote on the card for the flowers, all will be well. I can just tell. Another day will go by without saying hi. She'll love you always, and that's not a lie.
That was nice.
She's the little poet. I don't know where she got that talent from. It certainly wasn't me.
He's written a book and some songs too.
So anyway,
So just before they left to go to Jordan on their mission, um, I happened to be in in Provo going to the Cognitive FX brain injury clinic that they have there, and I stayed with Larbeth and Dill for that week and spent all of my days at the clinic. But on the Saturday before my session started, I was out there, and Larbeth and I went for a walk along the Provo River. And I don't remember what it was that we talked about, but I remember it was just really nice to be able to talk with Larbeth. We had a lot of different things to, like I said, I don't remember what. I recently saw a quote from Maya Angelou that said something along the lines of, we may not remember what was said or what was talked about. I'm murdering her quote, but at the end it says, but we will always remember how you made me feel. And that's what I felt. And I helped Larbeth chop up vegetables for dinner one of those nights. It was all sorts of vegetables, not peas and not lima beans. A lot of Middle Eastern style cooking.
yeah, they're good at that.
Yep.
I remember gazpacho at their house. That was really good too.
She became a very good cook. Very proficient at a lot of different things. And last year, not this, I guess it was, yeah, not this summer, but the summer before, we went out to Utah, and Larbeth and I went to a restaurant. I told Dill, he told me that it needed to be just the two of us because she will interact more when there's just two of you. And she did. She interacted really well with me, and we had a really good time. But my condition on that restaurant was I had to be able to walk to it because I didn't like driving in Salt Lake. So fortunately, there was a restaurant just down the street. I'm trying to remember it was an ethnic food, and I can't remember which
Thai.
was Thai.
I think so.
And Laura Beth, of course, couldn't remember that she'd eaten there before, and she had because Dill told me. But she was, he told me what she liked, and so I ordered that, and she said she really liked it, and we just had a great conversation. Again, we didn't really talk about a lot, but it was just really nice to be with just her again.
Yeah.
Considering we always had to share a bedroom because there was too many of you guys.
And not
Wasn't
enough
there one
bedroom.
year?
Yeah.
Wasn't
What?
there 1 year Larbeth had her own bedroom?
Yeah, right after Brent left.
Yeah.
Because they added on the rooms in the garage just before. So I think Brent got that for his senior year, maybe if that long. And then he
Yeah.
left to go to BYU and then went on a mission. And so that's Larbeth got the room at that time.
And then Larbeth went to BYU.
Larbeth went to BYU. So it wasn't, she didn't get a room to herself for very long. I got it the longest because I was left at home.
So I'm going to go back quite a ways. Who was on the drive when we went to Expo 73? Was
I went with you guys. Went Mom.
So it was Mom and Larbeth and me and Roy? Was that
Yeah.
just the four of us?
Yeah, I wasn't part of that.
Yeah, so we
What was
drove up
Expo
there.
73?
Expo 73 was up in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Larbeth and I, that was Expo 73 was that the same year as the Jamboree was 74, right, Matt?
Jamboree was 73.
The Jamboree was 73?
What was 74?
Expo.
Maybe it was Expo 74.
I was there.
What year did Nixon resign? It was we were on that trip when Nixon resigned. That's what
74. It was
Okay.
74.
Okay.
Oh, is that right? So I was on a backpacking trip when that happened.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
was a High Sierra.
Yeah. And so we went up to the World's Exposition, and after we left Spokane, we drove across Washington, and we camped. And we took the ferry across to what's the city that starts with a B across from Spokane, Scott?
across from
Uh,
Spokane,
No, it's across from Seattle. I'm sorry.
Seattle.
Seattle, Bainbridge Island.
Wait, no, north of that.
There's Everett is north of it, and Bellingham.
Bellingham. That's probably where we kind of went through there. Anyway, we camped on the Olympic Peninsula, and we were packing up and putting everything in the car, and Larbeth had her car keys in her coat pocket, and I was getting everything ready, and that's where I asked everyone, okay, we're ready to go, and I slammed the trunk of the car, and Larbeth looked up at me and she said, "No, you didn't," because her keys were in the coat, and that was the only set of keys we had in the car for the car, and it wasn't the type of car that had a pop for the back trunk. So there was the keys were locked into the trunk, and we had to figure out a way to get the keys out. And if I remember right, we ended up taking the seat out of the back of the
Yeah.
of the Nova, and I had to reach in with my skinny arm and grab the coat and pull it back out. And so we were able to save the day, but Larbeth was just mortified that I locked the car keys in the trunk.
Uh-huh.
Oh dear.
So
We showed up at their house one day. I can't remember this, but maybe a couple times, and it was like, "Oh, Curtis Marta here," and then they said, "Can you fix this and can you fix that?" and we had to go to the neighbor to get some tools.
That was when they were moving.
Yeah.
He was so happy to see Curtis. He didn't care about me.
They were moving stuff, and one of the guys helping was a friend of Dale's, and it's, "Oh, what's your relationship to this?"
Because everybody knew everybody but us.
Yeah, so by the time I was going to school there at BYU, yeah, LB and Dill were already well established in their house. he was teaching. And so my first year there, I never got up to their house very often because I didn't have a car. But after Cynthia and I got married and we're back at school at the Y, we would visit them all the time. So I'd go and um, use their little IBM PC to do my homework. And so we would hang out and then and then would help like put together the furniture that they bought because Dill was not allowed to change a light bulb or or hold a screwdriver.
Larbeth wouldn't let him.
No, Larbeth wouldn't let him.
That's probably because he broke things too often.
No, he had other skills. It
He
just
did have other skills. I agree with that, but yeah.
yeah, and we all loved him, but yeah, he wasn't allowed to change a light bulb. But yeah, and in fact, at that point, there was one of Dill's students started a company that was creating a word processor for Arabic, and they had their basement set up as a computer lab for that company. And LB was actually doing some programming for this word processor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They had to use an Apple Lisa to do the programming and then take a disk from the Apple Lisa, put it into one of the original Apple Macintosh and to see if the programming was working because the final product would be used on an Apple Macintosh, but they had to use a Lisa to make it do
Yeah,
that.
one of the few Apple Lisas that I've ever seen
Yes.
in the wild. Yeah. Yeah, so we would be up there a lot, and so we really enjoyed hanging out with LB and the family. And then usually and they're like the rules for the house were like, LB did a lot of the cooking and Dill would do the washing dishes.
He
And
still does.
He was very particular about the way the dishes had to be washed. So Larbeth and everybody else in the family just let him do it
just as
because nobody else did.
we never questioned it. It's just like that was his job. So I was like, okay. And then if we're trying to help, Julie would say, "Oh, washing dishes, that's a man's work. That's what the boys do."
Yes, I heard that too.
Well, let me
It's a good
tell
job.
you a situation when after I graduated from college, I went out to see Brett and Marilyn and Larbeth and Dill. So when I was with Larbeth and Dill, we went up to Mackinac Island because she was in Michigan at the time. And we were staying at a friend of Dill's or a friend of Larbeth's. I can't remember. Somebody that they knew. And they invited us for dinner. Yeah, we were having dinner with them. And Dill was watching her rinse the dishes. And basically she would take a dish and she'd just have it go through the water like this, and that just drove Dill crazy. So he went and helped her and rinsed the dishes so that all the soap would be off of the dishes and not just a glide through with the water. And Larbeth told me, she says, he knows he's going to have to eat on those dishes, so he wants them nice and clean. So yeah, Larbeth knew his little quirk on the dishes when he got up to help and told me about it.
I guess it never got worse. Maybe that's the good news.
So how many people did Larbeth teach piano to?
No idea.
I tried.
In the family. And it's just
Oh, in the family?
Oh, it
That's
only
just a
lasted a few weeks for me, so
Yeah, I didn't last very many days either.
I don't know how long it took, but I didn't last a long time. But
I didn't know she tried to teach you guys.
What was the name of the piano teacher that we went to that lived across the street from the Bollinger Chapel? Anyone remember?
Never went to her.
I must have been the last one that went. I didn't last very long with her either.
Larbeth was the only one that kept with the piano.
I
Yeah,
didn't last very long with my mother teaching me either.
I was gonna say the musical talents of the Harleans all came from marrying someone who
Yeah.
had musical talents. And yeah, Lisa, you're one of those.
I make a living.
But the Parkinson
On the
family
film,
had
yeah.
some exceptional singing
Oh, yeah.
voices.
Oh, definitely.
Scott, you married into some musical talent
Yeah.
as well.
Much more capable than I am. Well, yeah, I remember we would, LB would play the piano. We would all stand around and sing along, and especially at Christmas time. But yeah, other times we just would all stand around and sing along as a family. And way back then, I thought I could sing. I didn't realize family was kind. Nobody said, "Oh, shut up."
That was family home evening, was Larbeth playing the piano and us singing an opening song.
Yep.
And then afterwards we could sing some fun songs too. The No Laugh Race. Do you remember that one?
I
The
don't
No
remember.
Laugh Race.
There was a Dr. Seuss songbook,
I remember the Dr. Seuss songbook.
and one of the songs in there goes something like, well, the no laugh race is about to start. Stand face to face, 6 inches apart. Stand there and stare and stare and stare. Don't you laugh now, don't you dare. So the whole objective was to make the other person laugh, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And the first one to laugh was out. But you should look it up. That you can actually find it on YouTube. You can hear them singing it.
The one I remember from that book was Hungry, Hungry, I am hungry, table, table, here I come. I could eat a goose moose burger, 15 pickles and a purple plum.
Very good.
See, and I don't remember any. I
Yeah, I don't
vaguely
remember any of that.
remember that, but I don't remember any words of anything.
You were too old.
That's on YouTube too.
And without Larbeth, we wouldn't know the tune.
This is true.
Great.
So she and Larbeth also managed to get through 4 years of accompanying, at least I think it was 4 years of accompanying the Limerick choir for Mr. D'Estachio. And I bet that
Yeah.
was an interesting challenge.
Yes, it was.
Did she
She
go
was.
as a freshman?
I don't know if she did it as a freshman. She may have done it partway through her freshman year, but I know her sophomore year on.
Uh-huh.
That's
What year is that?
that's the album.
though?
This is 1968.
Yeah, she would have.
And
For
so
junior
side one is the concert band, and then side two is the concert choir. And so it'll be played for the piano for the choir, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
that name- is her name on that?
no, just D'Estachio's name's on it. That's the only.
Okay.
I don't think. Yeah, there's no other names on it.
I know she
Yeah.
got picked on a lot.
By D'Estachio?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he,
Didn't he pick on
Well,
everybody?
you were
Yeah,
in,
he picks on everybody, but yeah, no, she got a lot.
No, I have a bunch of recordings from Roy in the honor band, Santa Clara County honor band, and then another Lindbergh thing. See, and Roy's name is on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got what is
Playing the bass, the string
playing
bass.
the bass?
Bass, yeah.
Yeah, string bass. Yeah, this one's still in the plastic and has never been opened. So
Oh,
Oh,
that's a real collector's
it's worth
item.
it's worth $20.
Not what I charged.
Collector's item.
No, actually, so I had two of these, and originally I thought I had two of them because I thought Marta had played in it too, and she got one, but
No,
apparently not.
not in 68.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm not sure why we had two of them. So I recorded it, I digitized it, and then sent the album with the CD and a zip and a file to Dill so that he played it for LB.
Oh, nice.
So I had
If
a,
you can-
oh, go ahead, Marta.
I was just gonna say, if you think of some questions, I might be able to answer things, but I'm not thinking, I haven't been able to think of much. Go ahead, Matt.
So I've been told a story by Kathy Coombs a couple of times about how grateful she was to Larbeth and what a kind host she was when Kathy was visiting Cairo while they were over there in doing Dill's research. So she got to visit there, and she said it was like Larbeth was 8 months pregnant with Julia, and Larbeth still did a whole bunch of things with Kathy. They went to the pyramids, and they went. I don't remember all the different places. Kathy said she was going to write it up and send it to Julia, but she was just really impressed with how kind and sweet that Larbeth was to her. Just a cousin much younger than she.
But she was kind and sweet to everybody.
She was.
yeah.
And very intelligent.
Wonder if she got up on a camel while they were 8 months pregnant.
I don't know if I'd want to do that.
No, I don't think I would either.
I don't know. I think most of my memories it was always Larbeth and Marta as a team. I don't know how much a team you really were, but you shared the bedroom for a long time. You were a team to me. But I remember you coming back from girls' camp and you brought this gigantic tree trunk that you had chopped off
Yep.
all by yourself with an axe. You cut all the way through. And it was big, and then we just put it in the front yard by the front door. And it sat there until it pretty much deteriorated and disappeared.
Became fertilizer.
Yeah.
Well, Mom started going to girls' camp when Larbeth was 12 and went to girls' camp. So I don't think Larbeth was ever at girls' camp without Mom.
Cool.
And Mom, especially when she became camp director, really relied on Larbeth and then on me. Whichever one of us was around that was already old enough to help with camp if we were able to go. So
what are some of Marta? Tell us some of the memories you have about Larbeth at girls' camp. Anything that stands out?
oh, we were never in the same place at girls' camp.
No, 3 years apart, right?
Yeah, 3 years apart. So she was always, when I was at girls camp, she was always a leader.
Okay.
Not necessarily in the same group or with me, but she was always a leader and always very good. I can't remember anything really that stands out other than yeah, she was always just a rock. She was just always there. You could always count on her.
So did she take care of like campfires or activities at assembly time, or do you remember any of that?
No, I don't. I'm trying and I trying to remember when she stopped going. And I know there were times that mom relied on me more because I was around more. The Was Larbeth there, Hugh, when you rode your bike up, or was that just me?
I think it was just you.
Yeah, I know.
Which camp was that at?
Camp Cutter in the Santa Cruz Mountains,
Oh, okay.
not far from Lehigh Park.
And you rode your bike there?
Yeah,
That was
he
just off
did.
Highway 9.
He showed up at camp and mom was livid.
Well, when I went to, I visited Larbeth at close to New Year's on her birthday, actually, and Julia was asking me some of these same questions and what kind of memories do I have, and it's because Larbeth was such a humble person and she never really wanted to stand out. She,
Right.
she just always was content supporting other people and letting other people take the limelight. That it was, she never, in my memories, there's never a time where she tried to get the attention on her.
No, she never did.
It wasn't her nature.
It really wasn't in her nature. Her nature was, the support role.
But when she was a leader, she excelled.
She excelled. That's yes.
Yeah.
You guys remember Saratoga Springs when we had the family reunion there, and the rain and the tornado
And the wind.
and the wind killed everything,
Yes.
and we had all ended up at Laura Beth's house.
Well, I don't know if all of us ended up.
Well, a lot of people
Most of us, yes.
Yeah.
But I remember us going to the park, and she had these games for all the kids that were just.
Yeah, she was great with little kids
They were
and
fun.
organizing things.
I remember the stretchy fabric thing that tube that would sling people back and forth, and our kids had a grand time,
Oh yeah.
playing there, but she was really good at organizing these games for the kids. I mean, it was really good.
Yes, she excelled at that kind of thing and helping out. I know when they went to, I think were helping Syrian refugees in Jordan. And that's when she started making those little balls.
The snowballs.
I call them the snowballs, the crocheted or knitted balls. And they would play with those, and she would make some and leave them for them. And she organized a lot of different things for especially the wives of students of Dills to do while they were in Jordan or Egypt or wherever they were. If they had people that weren't in Dill's class, if they had extras, Larbeth was basically in charge of them.
Well, LB made up a cookbook for all the trips that she did, all the study abroad stuff.
That too.
I got a copy of one or two of those cookbooks, and
So do I.
yeah, but she had the date pudding recipe in there, and that's the recipe I use when I started making date pudding, is because of LB wrote it down. I didn't have a copy of Mom's original recipe, so I used LB's recipe, And
That works.
well, she put in explanations of some of the things in there, which really helped. And that's the only reason I started doing it. So I'm forever grateful that she wrote that down.
Well, yeah, Grandma Coombs made sure we knew how to make it and what the different things, and that's why she was writing those things down. I remember writing those things down as Grandma was trying to teach us. Oh, when we were going through the jewelry of Mom's after she passed, Mom had written down some things, and Larbeth was writing everything else down to label things that we could remember what they were. So yeah, she was always really good at labeling things. Took after Mom that way.
So do any of you remember a girls' camp backpack trip that Mom and Larbeth went on?
I know they were.
Because
To where?
Big Sur.
Big Sur.
So this was like a before camp backpack.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it was because I did them, but I don't.
The reason
It
why
was
I
Larbeth?
remember what I remember hearing the stories after they got back was it was raining and things got wet and they had one dry sleeping bag and Mom and Larbeth ended up sharing that dry sleeping bag for a night.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't on that trip.
I don't remember much more of it. And of course, Larbeth was when I mentioned it to her a couple of years ago, she didn't remember any of that, but that was already too late.
Yeah.
So
Some of
someone's
those-
got. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say some of those things you just rather forget.
Someone's got to tell the story of Larbeth and Brent feeding the twins. Because they're anyone, Marta, can you tell that story at all?
Not
or-
you?
All right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there, but
Well, when they were eating solid foods, Larbeth and Brent fed them a lot. And Brent always liked to have a race. Scott always ate faster than Hugh did. So Brent always won. And that's why I think he liked to have a race. And I think Larbeth complained at one point that it wasn't fair because he always got Scott because he ate faster.
I guess it's still evident. Huh?
But it was fun to watch. I don't know if Matt remembers that at all.
I remember the story.
I
But
remember them doing it.
I don't remember them doing it. But that was, if I'm remembering right, that was like when Brent and Larbeth were like 12 and 11 years old. And that meant I would have been about, what, 5? So I don't remember much from when I
Yeah,
was 5.
something like that. Larbeth was always good to talk to. She'd always listen. Yeah, she was a great sister. Even when she got ticked at me, there were several times she got ticked at me. I don't remember what for, but I was not an easy person to get along with anyway.
I can't imagine Larbeth being ticked at anything.
Oh, you could get her ticked.
Good to know.
She really didn't like it when I would take her clothes and wear them.
Well, I know.
Oh,
I couldn't take her shoes because her feet were bigger than mine, but I could take her clothes. And I don't think she didn't really like mine, so she never took mine. So
do you remember anything about when she was learning to drive, Marta? Were you were what, 11?
I'm 2.5
12?
years younger than she is.
Right.
Um,
It would have been 13, 14.
I don't remember. I know that there was one year we were ushers in Oakland for the temple pageant together. And
That must have been because you weren't singing.
I definitely wasn't singing. And she wasn't singing either. But we would ride up together and have a good time to Oakland. And I think it was only, just a couple of nights that we were doing that. It wasn't all the time, but it was fun. They wanted you nice and dressed up. So I think I vaguely remember wearing a formal or something for that. So Larbeth let me borrow her car for 1 week when we were at BYU. And she drove up one weekend, and her friend drove her back to Green
Green River.
She was
Green
teaching
River.
in Green River.
She was teaching in Green River, and the next weekend it was snowing, and I had to drive back to Green River. And there was one area that I was really scared because the snow was just blowing across the road. You could barely see the road. But
Is that at Soldier Summit?
probably, I don't remember where it was. I just remember trying to get to Green River, and it was not a fun trip.
Soldier Summit is not a fun place to drive in the winter.
No.
And then she drove me back. And that year that my first year that I was there, she liked coming up because she wanted to go back to the ward and make sure Dill didn't forget that she was still around. So
I guess her mission was accomplished.
yes, her mission was definitely accomplished. Although I don't know how much Dill really knew that, because when I was talking to Julia about, she wanted to know of how, when they met and stuff like that. And I told her that, and she's going, yes, when Dad told the story, it was quite different.
What was his story?
Well, she said it was just sort of a matter of fact type deal.
Oh,
And I'm going, well, no, not Larbeth was very interested in Dill. It wasn't that she said something about that he thought that this was her last resort. And I'm going, I don't think she felt that way. She just liked Dill. So,
So I remember she was telling us a story when she was teaching kindergarten in Green River. They were popping popcorn, and they put the popcorn popper like in the middle of the room so the kids could watch it. And she asked the kids if she should take the lid off the popcorn popper, and they all said yes. And so she took the lid off. Had popcorn popping all over the room.
Your fun
kids probably loved it.
Yeah, so I've never done that myself, actually.
That's because I've never wanted to clean up the mess.
Depends if you got if it's popping in oil or something like that. No, you don't want to do that.
Oh, well, this was an old school popper that was popping in oil. They hadn't invented the microwave yet, or
Or
the
the
air
air popper.
popper.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So do we have details figured out for when everybody's getting to Utah and when the services are going to be in?
Services are on the 22nd, but they will be in Orem.
In Orem.
Yeah,
Okay.
at their old ward building there in Orem.
Okay.
That would be the
Uh,
same one that we had mom's services in.
I think so. I just don't remember exactly where that is. And
It's just around the corner from their old house.
well, yeah, that I remember, but yeah.
The address is
Oh, I remember getting there.
So
It's around some odd corners. though.
so.
Yeah.
Are they having the burial beforehand? Do you know?
no, she said that
Oh.
would it be on the same day.
Oh, okay.
And then she talked about having a get together. This last text was either a Friday night or Saturday night, but she had talked about when she first talked to me, she said Saturday night at her house for a Middle Eastern thing and get together and talk.
So at Julia's house in Salt Lake City?
Yeah,
Okay. Is the burial gonna also be in Orem?
yep. That's why the services are going to be in Orem.
So it's close, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. And I'm not sure when we're going to fly out. Matt, we might fly out early because Curtis wants to see if he can get in touch with his uncle.
How early is early?
Wednesday? Is that what you said?
Wednesday.
Wednesday would probably work for me.
Okay. And his uncle is in Logan?
I would just try the train to vote.
Oh, he drive. Okay, that works for me.
I probably won't go with you up there, but
Yeah, I don't. Marta's not going to go either.
So you guys are flying there
Yeah, we're planning on flying.
and getting a rental car or something, or?
Yeah,
I told
I
Martin
know.
Curtis that I would share the cost of the rental car if we could do that. I'm happy to tag along.
Do you
I
want to share the
gotta,
cost of
Coming
mine
down,
too?
Kurt?
Pardon? Yeah, we're flying down. I'm just trying to figure out where and how. There's no direct flight from Edmonton to Salt Lake. You either have to go through Minneapolis or Seattle or Denver and yeah. Or I can drive down to Calgary. Might just do that. Because if I leave Calgary at 8 in the morning, then I can get there Friday morning. It's pretty straight. That sounds like it might not be a bad idea, actually.
So they have nonstops from Calgary to Salt Lake?
They do. Yeah, Delta has a flight. So then the service and the burial are on Saturday, and then we're leaving on Sunday type of thing, or
We were planning on
Sunday.
leaving Sunday.
Sunday?
So are we.
Yeah, we're gonna arrive Friday morning and we'll leave Sunday afternoon.
Well,
How about you, Scott?
I'm thinking of coming in on Thursday, but I don't have any real reason for that. But
have
actually,
a granddaughter.
Karen's gonna be in LA earlier in the week, and she's probably going to change her flight home to go straight to Salt Lake.
Oh, it'd be good to have her there.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, as far as accommodations though, it was like we're just gonna people are just staying in hotels or
I was gonna stay in a hotel.
okay. I think we'll do the same then.
You could check with Ricky. Ricky does an Airbnb, and
Oh,
I'm
right.
not doing Ricky's Airbnbs.
aren't you?
Are they infamous? What is
Because you're sharing the house with a lot of other people. I'm just not doing it.
Oh, it's not
That's
Not a whole house thing. Huh?
It's
No.
not
it's not. No, it's a room in a house.
That is a room in a house. I'm not doing Ricky's Airbnbs.
It's just saying that's an option.
I saw one of them and I was unimpressed.
Remember, this is still being recorded, everyone.
Yeah,
so they're not separate apartments inside the house. No, you don't get your own little kitchenette or
No,
Is
no,
correct.
it's shared
Okay.
shared kitchen and a
Shared
common living
bathrooms.
room, but you have individual bedrooms and
okay.
So
But-
it's not going to fly. Where it's actually cheaper for us to fly into Texas and then fly up to Salt Lake from Texas. So we'll get there. We'll get to Salt Lake on Friday as well, the 21st, and then we'll go back to Texas on we go back on Monday. But we'll stay with Christina's kind of living in Riverton, so we'll probably stay with Christina. But Stella's sister lives in Orem, so that's also an option for us. We'll see.
okay. So if we're gonna be at Julia's place on Saturday night, we should probably plan on
Well, she changed it to be Friday night or Saturday night. So
Oh,
I
okay.
have no idea.
So if we stay in Salt Lake, that would probably be a better thing then.
Mhm.
Does anybody have a favorite hotel in downtown area of Salt Lake?
I've never actually stayed at a hotel. Well, did I?
Yeah, I've never stayed in Salt Lake. The last time I don't know, I stayed at Julia's place the last time I was there. So
The church put us up at the Hilton there for conference. It was really nice, but I wouldn't pay that much money for.
for yourself.
There is a-
I've stayed at the Holiday Inn Express there and a couple other places around. There's some decent mid-price hotels in downtown Salt Lake.
Well, there are hotels close to the airport, and that's really close to downtown too.
Yeah,
So we're gonna stay at the La Quinta near the airport. So
that's where the U-Haul that I rented to bring stuff from.
oh, that's what
I'll tell you, that's where it got broken into. Is at the Eat La Quinta. So be careful with your. Don't leave stuff in your car.
Belongings
Don't
there.
leave stuff in your car. So I did send a note to one of our cousins from Ogden, originally from Ogden, Myra Harleen Dalton, just to let her know. And she has an email list for a lot of our cousins that are there in the Salt Lake City area. And so I know that I've gotten some responses from a number of them, Jed Lyman and Michelle, and
Gilbert.
what's that?
Michelle Gilbert.
Yeah, Michelle Gilbert, and also Joe Harleen, one of Myra's brothers, Alden's son. So I don't know if anyone would like to be able to have a time, not the night that Julia's planning, because we're not all going to fit into Julia's house. But if we want to do something on a different night with other cousins that we haven't all seen for a long time, because we were the California black sheep that were never in Utah.
That would be nice if we could do, like, if we do that Friday night and if we do with Julia on Saturday night after the funeral.
Yeah,
Is that the idea?
that was what I
That
was
would be
thinking.
nice.
if people are interested in that, I don't know where we would do it, but
Do you want to see if we can, like, if you want to do it in, I'm just trying to think if I know about somebody, if just find somebody that has a key to a church building somewhere that is someplace, and we could just, I mean, there's enough churches that are around. They've got to be someplace you can just use a Relief Society room, and
maybe we could
Yeah,
see if either Christie or Julia's ward would accommodate us. So Christie's ward is the same ward that Larbeth and Dill were attending.
yeah.
Getting access to church buildings is getting tough, Kirk. Around here, they've
know.
got them all on electronic keys.
And you've got
They only
electronic
have
key. You
so
can't just
many
hand somebody a
doors.
key anymore.
There's no key.
It's, yeah, it's on your phone.
It's your
Oh, it's on
phone.
your phone? I thought, oh, there's no punch digital
Nope.
lock anymore.
It's an app on your phone, and they only give out so many, but they will let you have a temporary one.
We have key fobs, that little RFID tags, and
This is a
Yeah.
phone. This is on your phone. Yeah,
Wow.
and it's
This is
they
it's Kindu or something like that.
yeah. It's pretty.
It's pretty slick the way it works.
oh,
And there's only one door that you can open.
only one door.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, so not only
I'll ask Julia and see if there's something we can
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. I would really like that because I don't get down there much, and I know they've had a couple of reunions with Arlene's that I didn't have enough notice that I could plan for and stuff, so it would be nice to
So I know several of
say
them
hi.
are planning on being at Larbeth's funeral. So
Are they having a viewing the night before or the morning of, or
I don't think they're having a viewing at all.
a
'Cause they
family?
said it's closed casket, is what Julia said.
That makes sense.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like. I'm sorry. I have a
No, that's
hard.
fine. Sometimes they just have a meet the family kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But okay.
I don't have any, she hasn't said any of the details yet, other than date,
Yeah.
Okay.
and see if I can find it in all of these missionary texts and everything else I've got going here.
the missionary cars all have a kiwi. You know what that is?
No.
It's a warning to the drivers that they're speeding. So if you're going 6 miles over the speed limit, it says, watch your speed. If you're
No, it
going,
doesn't say watch your speed, it says speed check or check your speed.
check your speed. And if you're going 85 miles an hour, it sends a notice to your mission president
And Salt Lake.
and Salt Lake
Oh,
And then, and you lose your driving privileges.
for the rest of your mission.
oh my.
Yeah, it's rather annoying, really.
Yeah, that's how he tells what the speed limit is. It'll say, check your speed. He also gets a lot of no driver violation.
Oh yeah, you got to scan your card before you can drive. Before when you first driving. So
So I'm wondering,
Yeah.
should I end the recording?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.